But borderless or full screen, not windowed, obviously, but show HUD, yeah. So I'm turning off the HUD motion because that makes your HUD do this, kind of bounce around when you're running, and I don't really like that. Right, let's do the advanced setting. Oh, by the way, I always do this. I always set brightness to 55. And, well, I haven't had sharpness before, so we'll do that. Wait, graphics? Right, so it says ultra. We're not going to do that. We're going to do custom. I'm going to have high textures. I'm going to have high texture filtering. I'm going to have medium mesh quality. Medium or high mesh quality. I'm going to have medium undergrowth quality. I'm going to have low effects quality. So the reason why you can keep textures quite high is because, look, you can see CPU. Like they've actually kind of pogged the settings menu. I'm keeping textures high because the CPU and GPU, what's it called? Pressure is extremely low. And I've got a ton of VRAM available. And you'll probably have the same. So I can keep textures high. And texture filtering, I'm not on the max because, again, it takes a little bit on your GPU, right? Mesh quality. These are the things. These things, as much as, you know. Mesh quality is going to be fine. I'm pretty sure you won't notice that mesh quality is on medium, right? Terrain quality. That's the one that might have some issues. It'll make rocks look like jaggedy and stuff. But I'll leave it on medium, and if I have any issues where it looks like rocks don't render in properly or stuff like that, then I'll probably change it back to high. Undergrowth, terrain decoration quality. So this will be like the grass and the bushes, and if in theory, if you want to have like the most competitive, setting, then you'd have this on low because then you'll have the minimum amount of grass and bushes. I'll put that on low. We'll see. Set terrain decoration quality. I wonder if it's the actual quality, though, and not the actual amount. So things might look like blurry because they're like low quality. I don't know. We can keep that on low. That's the sort of thing I would keep on low. Effects on low because it's fine. If they're blurry, it doesn't really matter. Volumetric effects quality. So this would be like smoke. I could probably keep that on low. And again, this is a mix between things that I know that will look good versus making sure I get the maximum amount of performance. Lighting quality. I mean, usually I'd have this on low, or I'd have this on like medium. But it does say that it only affects my CPU and GPU a low amount. And here's your, yeah, so this is what I'd have on low, 100%. Local light and shadow quality. So I believe this will be... Is this not baked lighting? I don't know what this is. What's the difference between these two? Lighting quality and local light shadow quality. And why is there only two options? I guess this will just be the shadow... What's it called? How high quality the shadows are. So it will look... The edges of the shadows will probably look like aliased and blurry and stuff. But do I really care? How often am I going to be looking at that? We'll keep that on low. Sun shadow quality. Put that on medium. That's what. So there's three different lighting settings. I don't think we've ever had three lighting settings. Lighting quality, local light and shadow quality, and sun shadow quality. So these will be the dynamic lights in the scene, right? So if there's any lights in a building, they're called dynamic lights because they're lights that like the players like shadows will react to. And then the sun shadow is the big light in the sky, if you've ever heard of it. You know? I'll keep that on medium. As I said, this is what I'm starting with, and then if I get like 300 FPS, I'll just put the settings up. Global lighting, yeah. Shadow filtering. PCSS is softer. I'm never gonna... See, this is something I'm never gonna notice. So I might as well have it on the cheaper setting. Reflection quality. That'll be for probably things like water. And that's pretty much it, so I'm not really bothered about that. Screen trace reflections off. Again, I can always turn them back on. Post-processing, that's stuff that goes like filters over your screen usually. And you're not really going to look at that. It'll be like the texture quality of a smoke animation in the front of your screen or something. Screen space AO. Ambient occlusion. Screen space ambient. I can just turn that off. Yeah, that's what that is, right? Ambient occlusion, which is like the shadows on the models themselves, if I remember correctly. And then high fidelity objects amount. Just put that to low. Okay, so this is probably how I would have everything set up if I want the game to look somewhat decent, but I want the performance to run. Now, bear in mind, I'm just making this up as I go along. You can do whatever you want, and there is going to be 100%, there is going to be people out there that make settings videos that are going to be way better than this. But if you'd like to know what I'm doing, here it is. I guarantee you that there is going to be a person who does a better settings video than I do, and I will probably end up following that, and I will link you to it. So there you go. But there you go. That's a good start for me. If you wanna save this as a clip, that's what I'm going with. And if it looks trash, it looks trash. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna have to restart my game. Okay, I will restart my game. Right. So then we'll do some more graphics. Sorry, I will do some more graphics. So now we've done the basic graphics. Let's go to the advanced graphics settings. Fixed resolution scale. Yes. Frame rate limiter. I probably unless so basically if my FPS is madly over 300, then I probably will limit the frames. Actually, I don't know. I very much doubt I'm gonna hit over 240 FPS. I'll keep it off for now. Enabled and boost, and guys, I'm not even sponsored by Nvidia today. At least have Nvidia Reflex low latency on. At least. Boost was already on anyway, and I'm gonna keep it that way. But at least have enabled on. It is magic. Anti-aliasing. Did you see what I mean about like they're actually listening? This is the first time that they've ever given us the option to turn off anti-aliasing since Battlefield 4, right? So the thing with anti-aliasing is in the past it used to add latency and made your game look blurry. I'm gonna turn. Wait, what else do they have? DLA. Oh, they got DLLA. DLLA. Oh god, I may have crashed my game. Oh no. Oh. No. It didn't like me going through them. They have DLAA. The only thing is I don't know enough about DLLA that it might cause input latency. But I would use DLAA over TAA. But I will try it with anti-aliasing off, but I 100% know people in the chat are going to lose their minds. Now, when I was playing, so this is very important. This is very, very important. When I was playing in the Reveal, and when I was doing my capture settings, or my offline capture, about 6 days ago, right? I had DLSS quality on, and I could not feel the input lag. I didn't have frame gen on, and I didn't have future frame rendering on. But I had DLSS quality on, and I couldn't feel input lag, and so I kept it on because I felt like I was gaining more FPS than losing the input lag. Okay. Bro is settings. Why are you streaming about a settings menu? Because this is everyone has asked me to do this, and I'm milking it. All right, what do you want? Anyway, RWJ, thank you. Bruno Hone, thank you for the 2 years. Argendor, thank you for the 3 years, 3 months of tier 1, and thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well. Thank you very much. If you got one of those subs, make sure to thank Argendor in the chat. Thank you. But yes, we're definitely milking it. All right. What do you want me to say? Right. So that pretty much covers my graphics settings. Now, what you have to remember with the graphics settings is there are settings in the config files in the documents that you can adjust even further on top of the settings we have here. And Freethy is probably the guy that's going to end up doing that, and he's probably already done it at this point. I'm gonna turn off DLSS for now. I will turn on DLSS if I feel like my FPS is below 120. Pretend settings. Config works on this too. Yep. There's already configs out. I'm sure Freethy already has one. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. I'm making my settings, and we'll probably apply Freethy's settings eventually. But we're just doing my... Guys, come on. We're making it last, all right? I haven't actually watched any guide videos for settings either. This is truly my first impressions of the settings. I've not even seen this, apart from the ones that I looked at when I was looking at the reveal menu. What res do I play? 1440p, yeah. Right, so I think we've got all of this sorted out. I don't think I've missed anything so far. We've done the advanced. We've done the normal graphics. I've turned my brightness and sharpness up to 55. FOV to 112. Turned off all of these settings. Audio. If I remember correctly, I was using default mix for the reveal. Largest difference between loud and quiet sounds. Suitable for loud listening levels. I don't think I'd want that. If I remember correctly, night mode used to be popular. Because it means that a narrow... See, this is... I don't know a lot about audio. So, that's on me. A more narrow dynamic range with reduced low end. Reduced low end. I think I was keeping it on default mix when I first started. Or at least when I was playing the reveal, and I talked to the guys and they said that they liked default mix the best for now. Again, there's going to be a whole section of the Battlefield community who's obsessed with audio, who are audio nerds, and they're going to know the perfect setup for this as well. No, we're not putting on war tapes. Guys, war tapes is go deaf mode. And also you've got war tapes VAL, very aggressive listening. I saw that. Mental. Now, I know you love the music, but we're probably going to turn the music down to about 45. And then eventually, if I'm 100% honest, after about a week, I'm just going to turn this off. Because sometimes the music gets in the way of the game. Commander voiceover volume. Oh, this will be the guy that's going, they're taking B, they're taking A, and all that. So that's good. Hit indicator. Has a sound. Does it? The hit indicator has a sound? Did they mean by... I don't remember there being a hit indicator for sound. Also, the tinnitus SFX volume as well. Tinnitus pitch. Interesting. Subtitle settings. I'm going to have that off, but obviously if I play the single player, I'll turn that off. On. I'll turn it on if I play single player. Enable radio music. Now, because I'm a streamer, I don't know if they're using probably copyright music, so I will turn that off. Right. What else can we change? So, we looked at gameplay. This is actually interesting because you can actually visibly see the lines of the capture areas. But once you play the game for like 100 hours, you'll probably know every single capture area off by heart. So eventually, I'll probably turn this off. But since we're still learning the game, I'm going to keep that on. As I said, infantry aim sensitivity and mouse aim sensitivity. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is for controller and this is for mouse. I don't know why they've just called it infantry aim sensitivity. I'm pretty sure this doesn't affect your mouse aim sensitivity. They are two separate sensitivities for controller and mouse. So keep that in mind because it's confusing, and I don't know why they haven't just labeled it controller aim sensitivity. Yeah, look. I really don't understand why they've not just called this infantry controller aim sensitivity. These are two separate things. Anything else? Everything else here looks good. Vehicle aim, yeah. Aircraft control. I could probably turn this down to like 6 again. I'm just gonna put everything on 6 because that's what I'm used to. It'll probably, hopefully, be about the same. By the way, so in case you wanted to know my sensitivity, I am using 1600 DPI at 6 sensitivity at 112 FOV. The FOV is also important. If you want the exact same aim as me, which is 45 centimeters, 360 degrees, 6 sensitivity, 1600 DPI, and 112 FOV infantry. There you go. That's my settings. Or maybe, actually, they might be, if I remember correctly, they might be here. Why? So this is another thing. Okay, so look, in gameplay, right? Look. In gameplay, vehicle aim sensitivity, vehicle mouse aim sensitivity sets to 6. But then when I go to mouse and keyboard, my vehicle mouse aim sensitivity is set to 9. There's some very confusing things going on in this, in these settings, control settings. You see, now this is important. If I hadn't have found this, so for me personally, I have a zoom sensitivity coefficient of 0, which means that when I aim down sight, my hip fire sensitivity is exactly the same as my aim down sight sensitivity. Some people like using this because it kind of like scales 133. It scales differently, but I use 0% as I have on all my games. But a lot of people prefer the default of 133. But it's something you have to get used to. Basically, all of my sensitivities, whether I'm hip fire or ADS, are exactly the same. There's vehicle coefficient too. Infantry scent. Choose whether to hold. Oh, interesting. I usually have it on hold because sometimes I like to just take my finger off the sprint button so that I'm like moving slower. Double tap forward sprint, not interested. Crouch, toggle sprint, we've already gone through this. Vault over sprint prioritizes vaulting if you're holding sprint, but if you don't hold sprint, you don't vault. Slide key, right. So this is something that's important for a lot of people. I am going to have a dedicated slide key on left alt, which means that I don't have to double tap crouch to slide. I just press one button like Call of Duty and I just slide. Fantastic. Interesting. So choose which crouch buttons can be used to slide. Maybe just none. If I'm going to use a dedicated slide key, I don't want to be accidentally sliding sometimes. Yeah. So there you go. For me, I'm going to have a dedicated slide key. Left alt. You're saying left alt's a bad key, right? But left alt is... You're never going to be sliding and jumping at the exact same time. So you rest your thumb on your left alt, right? You rest your thumb on your left alt, and then you tap jump when you need to jump, and you tap slide when you need to slide. I've never found a better system for it. You use your thumb for both sliding and jumping. Sorry, I was reading the chat. I need to read the chat better. You can download the beta client. Yes, you can download the beta client. Did you see that the network stacks? You can bring up the server tick rate at the top of the screen. I didn't see that. I'm still halfway through these settings, dude. There's so many. Infantry weapon zoom. I'm a hold enjoyer because of sniping, not because of anything else. Zoom. Yeah, that's fine. Steady scope, left shift. Infantry zoom aim sensitivity. I think that's to do... As long as I leave it at 100, it should be fine. Do they not have individual weapon zoom levels on this? I don't think they do. And then they've just got skip revive, request revive, make sure you turn off parachute auto deploy. Which is interesting because insertions only. Now, think about it this way. I know you all want to be thinking about insertions right now, but there is nothing in the game where you spawn in the sky. Yet. So, what could this be referencing? Just saying. Mount breakout, yeah, we've already done that. And interacts a hold or toggle. Well, that is, hang on. Interacts a hold or toggle. Off, on. Doesn't make any sense. Right, so there was some other stuff about gameplay, I think. Vertical look settings. If I remember correctly, I think I have, yeah, vertical look on aircraft, but even then I don't remember if that's correct for me. There's 5k people on BF6 just messing with the settings. Oh, yeah. I think slide on N is better. What? N's so far away from your hand. Right. I think I've got all this. Now, guys. I've already seen some settings. I'm just checking this just in case there's anything that's important. I don't think so. Color profiles. Now, I used to use, in older games, I used to use Tritanopia because it used to get rid of the horrible green tinge in 2042. Whether I'll need to do that again, I don't know. But usually, I want my enemies to be the most deep red you can get. But I mean, that was pretty close to it anyway. Is there a way to get an even deeper red? There you go. I mean, that's as red as you can get, right? Neutral color, accent color. I used to do... Oh. So hang on. Also, by the way, soft armor color, hard armor color. What's that referencing? And that's weird. You know, like blue and purple. Man, what could that be referencing, dude? Blue armor and purple armor, dude. Interesting. That's a real interesting one. One thing I can't see on this screen, though, is changing my hit markers and my reticle. Is that somewhere else? Where would that be? Does anyone know? It is? Where is it? On system? Ah, okay. Right, I need to make sure there's nothing on system, because I remember in Call of Duty, system like goes, and here's your IP address. So hopefully that it doesn't do that. I'm just checking through the settings to make sure there's nothing weird in here. Right, now, guys. This page is very special to me. This page is very special to me. This streamer mode and anonymous mode. Enable streamer mode. When enabled, the IDs of the other player appear. The other players on the server appear differently to you. Anonymous mode. When enabled, your ID appears different to all other players on the server. Players will not be able to see your ID. And now this is a special thing for me because I have been pushing this behind the scenes for 8 years. 8 years I've been pushing for a streamer mode and or an anonymous mode. I went to a Battlefield EA event and I went in front of the suits and I said that they needed to add this 8 years ago in Sweden. And they literally had no idea what I was talking about. And it was after I had to give them the example, and I said, Shroud played your game, Battlefield 4, in front of 20,000 viewers, and got so stream sniped, he had to stop playing after 30 minutes. And obviously, me, as someone who streams Battlefield every day, I got stream sniped every single day for, I would say, like 5 years. It got better, actually, once they kind of had, what's the word? Once they started, the newer games basically had matchmaking, so it was harder for people to stream snipe you. But one of the reasons why I stopped playing BF4 and even BF1 and BF5 at some points was because it was just like relentless stream sniping. And all I said, and this is something I said very specifically, I don't want streamers to have I don't want special treatment necessarily, right? The whole point is that if I said, oh, give streamers special streamer mode so that only the special ones get it, I said, why don't we just have a harassment mode? Like, people are harassed regardless of whether they're a streamer or not. Like, if this is something that everyone needs. You will no longer show up when you get killed when you're in a montage. You know what I mean? If you ever feel self-conscious about being killed by a streamer or anything, that's never going to happen again. They've got rid of that. You know? So now, no one knows. I'm basically just fighting random people, and no one knows that they're fighting me. Fantastic. Cheaters are going to use this. Obviously, they've thought about that. I know you're going to be like, maybe what if they haven't? So I can guarantee you that whatever you have in this mode, right, it's still going to be tied to your actual username, right? But yeah, there you go. This is what I've been advocating for. Just this for 8 years, and they finally added it in this game. We needed it like 4 years ago, but they finally done it. I don't know who did it, but this is absolutely huge for me. So there you go. Thank you. Whoever did this, thank you. I appreciate you. This is amazing. And now I can just play that. I mean, I might just turn on the anonymous mode, but keep streamer mode on for now, but I might turn on the streamer mode later because people might get weird about it. We'll see how it goes. Anonymous must be a streamer. Yeah, but hopefully the names will be weird enough or like random enough that people won't be able to tell. I do get it, but it's fun to occasionally know you managed to outsnipe someone or someone else randomly. That's the problem. It starts off fun. Share usage data. I'd rather not. Scoreboard ping. Enables display of all players' ping as a number on the scoreboard. Well, yeah, I do want to know that. If I'm honest. And then network graph. Yeah. I do find it weird that you can't make the minimap bigger. Why can't I make the minimap bigger? Like everyone always used to make the minimap bigger, but they've just removed that from this for now, which is a bit sad. Command console I have on because I can then just put my cheats in there and I don't even have to download them, which is great. And I think, as far as I'm aware, that's everything that I would want to change. Sorry, where are the did you guys say that there was a way to change the reticle? Where do I do that? Where do I change my crosshair? Graphics, icons and indicators. Okay, there's actually a lot more here than I thought down here. HUD icons, crosshairs and indicators. Do we actually have a screen? Do we really not have a screen that shows me? Ah, this is... Okay, so we did have this earlier. Look, we have the armor soft, armor here. Okay, so... If I remember correctly, I used to set the headshot color to teal. Because it's very important knowing that you've hit a headshot when you're using a pistol or something. Although, we've got a very similar color here of the blue. What if we made the blue a bit more dark blue, like here? So it's like actually different. If anyone's colorblind, like you, sorry. Damage numbers enabled. Again, although the damage numbers, you can turn the damage numbers off. Someone was asking about that. You can turn the damage numbers off if you're worried about it looking like Borderlands. I might even have the damage numbers on large or medium. Because I think that's an advantage. Because obviously knowing how much damage you've done to people. You got to do some quick maths though. Well, I'm guessing these two colors look almost identical, basically. Kill color, red. If I remember correct, do you remember on Battlefield 4, people used to use black as the color to like... Because I think it... But it's harder to see. So maybe red is the way. Or yellow. I can't remember if I used yellow or red. I don't know. And then crosshair color. I used to like green. But I also just like white. To be honest. Crosshair intensity. What does that mean? I need a screen here. I need a screen here. Crosshair thickness. Thin. Ooh, I might like that. I'll leave it on default for now, but thin might be good, you know. That's pretty good. Right, was there anything else that was in... There was more stuff in graphics I wanted to check out. Have I missed anything that you've noticed? Film grain, this is all off. As I said, I might set it to full screen if I have any issues, but we'll see. Advanced HUD settings. Yeah, squad and nearby is actually good. Because it will only give you enemy kills in your nearby area as well. So you'll be able to immediately know if someone dies on my kill feed, I know that that's happened within my vicinity where I can actually maybe do something about it, as opposed to having the global one. Like the all one just means that you'll get every single kill on the match, which isn't necessarily helpful information, but squad nearby is useful. Cone edge opacity. View rotation. See, this is what I mean. Dynamic minimap. I don't really know what that means because you've already got... there's another setting somewhere else which is about the minimap. So that's so weird. Follow the direction the player's facing. Right, so you've got dynamic minimap here, but then in system, you have view rotation on. They're two different settings in the same place. So that's strange. Show hard. I think everything else. Oh no! Wait, there's an important. This. Oh, thank God! I almost forgot this. Turn this off. Infantry crosshair projection. So what this does is this moves the crosshair around your screen, irrelevant of where the center of your screen is, to remove motion sickness. You want to have this off, because what will happen is you'll be using a pistol and the crosshair will be moving around with your character like this, and it's just like, I don't want that. I want the crosshair to be the center of my screen, which is the most important part, and that's on as default, by the way. So you want to have that off. Very important. So yeah, you go. That's a huge advantage. That's right. Some streamers playing right now? Nah, they're just playing clips, but which is what I'm about to do right now. I think that's everything. I think I've got my settings set up. I don't think there's anything else. I don't know what this means, by the way. These two. I don't know. I think that's my settings guide. Done. Even though it's not really a guide. And honestly, I don't know if you should follow it. It's not going to be the best settings in the world. And as I said, there is going to be config settings that you can change. And you'll probably want to mess with the config settings if you're a big sweat. So, which I'm sure a lot of you are.